Was a supplement company behind Kobe Bryant's accident? What if the tragic death of the NBA legend Kobe Bryant wasn't a mere accident? On January 26, 2020, the world was rocked by the news of Kobe's untimely demise in a shocking helicopter crash. But as details emerged, a disturbing web of conspiracy theories began to unfold. Was Kobe silenced to prevent him from testifying in a high-stakes legal battle against a pharmaceutical company? Did the experienced pilot make an inexplicable error that cost 9 lives, or was something more sinister at play? Join us as we unravel the mystery surrounding the legend's final hours and explore the chilling theories that suggest Kobe's death was no accident. Kobe Bryant is one of the legends that can be never forgotten in America's sports history. He is recognized for his exceptional sports performance and his extraordinary dedication to maintaining peak physical condition, while at it is baffling. Widely regarded as one of the greatest players of the time in the history of the sport, Bryant won 5 NBA championships during his 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers. Among his many achievements, Bryant was selected for 18 NBA All-Star awards, winning 4 All-Star awards. He was the overall league's most valuable player in 2008 and 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He also led the NBA scoring twice and ranks 4th in the league all-time regular season and postseason. The NBA Hall of Famer's legend stretched beyond the boundaries of the United States and into most of the obscure corners of the world. He was posthumously voted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2020 and named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team in 2021. Countless tributes were held to honor Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and others who were killed during the tragic helicopter crash. The others who died in the crash were Ara Zobayan, who was the pilot, John Atabale, Orange Coast basketball coach, his wife, Carrie, and their daughter, Alyssa, Christina Mauser, who helped Bryant coach his daughter's basketball team, and Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton. It was reported that they were headed to Gianna's basketball game at Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks, California, when the helicopter crashed into the hillside due to foggy conditions, killing everyone. However, a significant number of people were not comfortable with the circumstances surrounding the death of NBA legend and suspected foul play. On January 26, 2020, exactly 9:06 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, a Sikorsky S-76 helicopter departed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, with 9 people on board: Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, the pilot, and 6 family friends. According to the California Secretary of State Business Database, the helicopter was registered with the Fillmore-based Island Express Holding Corp. The group was traveling to Camarillo Airport in Ventura County for basketball at Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks. Due to the light rain and fog that morning, the Los Angeles Police Department helicopters and most other air traffic were down. The light flight trackers showed that the helicopter circled above the LA Zoo due to heavy air traffic in the area. At 9:30 a.m., Zobayan contacted the Burbank Airport's control tower to notify them of his situation, but was told he was flying too low to be detected by radar. At the same time, the helicopter experienced extreme fog and Zobayan turned south towards the mountain. The helicopter rapidly climbed higher and increased in speed, traveling about 160 miles per hour, and at 9:40 a.m., the helicopter crashed into the side of a mountain in Calabasas, about 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, and reportedly caught fire. Bryant, his daughter, and the other 7 occupants in the vehicle were all killed on impact. Initial reports indicated that the helicopter crashed in the hills above the Calabasas in heavy fog. Witnesses reported hearing a helicopter struggling before crashing. On January 28th, Bryant's identity was officially confirmed using fingerprints, and the following day, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner coroner stated that the official cause of death for Bryant and the 8 other helicopter occupants was blunt force trauma. The Federal Aviation Administration, the National Transportation Safety Board, and the FBI launched investigations into the crash. However, the cause of the crash was difficult to investigate as the helicopter was not equipped with a black box. Over a year after the crash, the National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the pilot error was the most significant reason for the crash. They stated that the pilot, Ara Zobayan, probably became disoriented after flying into the thick clouds. The 5 board members also said that Zobayan, who also died in the crash, ignored his training and violated federal regulations during the flight. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, the pilot made a costly decision to fly at excessive airspeed at about 160 miles per hour into the area of poor visibility. They added that he lost the ability to control the helicopter after losing visual contact with the ground. They further emphasized that the pilot may have had self-induced pressure to complete the flight despite the relatively bad visibility because he wanted to score some points with his celebrity client Kobe Bryant. In addition to these, the NTSB ruled out other factors as they concluded that the helicopter was mechanically sound and its engines and controls were working fine when it crashed. However, the air traffic controllers made one radio communication that did not contribute to the crash. Furthermore, the charter company did not put undue pressure on the pilot to fly in less than ideal conditions. However, the NTSB stated that the charter company could improve its safety culture and adopt better risk management tools to make decisions about whether to fly or not to fly, even though the board says it might not have stopped Bryant's flight from taking off that day. The NTSB concluded that the pilot still needs better training for how to get out of disoriented conditions when there is a sudden loss of visibility. The nature of the sudden death of the NBA Hall of Famer has inspired several conspiracy theories that suggest foul play. The entire nation mourned the passing of the NBA superstar. However, it was only a matter of time before the collective mourning over the tragic death of the NBA superstar gave way to humanity's baser impulses. A recent Instagram post made by an individual has made people suspicious that the crash that took the life of the NBA legend might have not been an accident as opposed to official report, and perhaps must have been a possible setup to stop Bryant from testifying. The individual raised some speculations that point to Bryant's death not being an accident. The post was immediately flagged as part of Meta's effort to combat false news and misinformation on its newsfeed. Apparently, Koby Bryant was in a legal battle with this company that was using the Black Mamba to sell energy supplements. Allegedly, the lawsuit was not just about the name, as he claimed they were lacing the supplements with opioids to foster addiction. Bryant, known for his integrity, would not stand for such a product to be sold out using his nickname as a trademark. Intriguingly, Bryant's business partner Jeff Stibels has ties to the company that is under legal scrutiny. The plot thickened when Bryant's court schedule was set for just 3 days before his untimely death, raising suspicions of potential interference. Back in 2015, the pharmaceutical company High-Tech Pharmaceuticals filed to trademark the name Black Mamba Hyper Rush to use it to sell a line of ephedra-based diet pills. Bryant's team, however, filed to trademark his Black Mamba name 1 year after High-Tech. Bryant and the pharmaceutical company have been battling it out since 2017 after Bryant demanded that their trademarks not be approved, fearing it would cause most people to connect him with the brand. He even pointed to Nike using Hyper on their products, which would cause confusion with the pill name. However, High-Tech fired back at Bryant's opposition, calling him a bully and accusing him of overreaching his trademark rights to maliciously block their trademark. Initially, the pharmaceutical company had reached out to Bryant for an endorsement deal, which he declined due to his reservations about the products. Before his tragic death, Bryant was trying to hash out a settlement in a battle with the pharmaceutical company. According to the court documents obtained, Bryant had informed the court that he was attempting to work out a deal with High-Tech Pharmaceuticals over his famous nickname. The document revealed that the parties are actively engaged in negotiations to settle the issue. However, Bryant requested that the proceedings be suspended for 30 days to allow the parties to continue their settlement efforts. But before this, the NBA legend suffered a huge setback in the battle over the Black Mamba title. The United States Patent and Trademark Office denied Bryant's attempt to wrap up the battle. Bryant has been fighting the pharmaceutical company for years. Apparently, High-Tech has been attempting to trademark Black Mamba Hyper Rush, but Bryant is stopping them from doing so and accusing them of ripping off his famous nickname. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office shut down Bryant's motion, asking them to void High-Tech's trademark application. They suggested that the case be moved forward and the involved parties go to trial. They believe there is still more to be determined if evidence is presented from both parties. But unfortunately, just a few days before Bryant's court appearance, he died in a tragic helicopter crash. Due to the ongoing feud between the NBA legend and the pharmaceutical company, many suspected that there must have been foul play involved, and perhaps the accident might not have been an accident after all. The circumstances surrounding the flight and the crash of the flight just don't add up, and we are left with our imagination to solve the mystery behind the death of the NBA superstar. Many people were not so convinced by the report from the NTSB, concluding that the inexperienced decisions made by the pilot were the sole reason for the crash. We are talking about a pilot who has many years of experience. How could he have made the wrong call, one so lethal that it claimed 9 lives? Some individuals are convinced that there is more to the story, as a lot of things do not add up. Normally, when the weather conditions are seemingly unfavorable, the flight is usually delayed until the bad weather resolves. But in this case, the pilot decided to carry on with the flight, risking the life of one of America's finest sportsmen. Despite the bad weather conditions, the pilot changed course midway and decided to fly at excessively high speed of about 160 miles per hour. Aside from this being a poor decision, the fact that it was made by an experienced pilot and not an amateur breeds more suspicion. Many are forced to assume the unfortunate event was not a mistake, but an intentional move to sabotage the flight and kill the NBA superstar. A few days before his untimely demise, the NBA superstar was about to testify in court against the pharmaceutical company. Perhaps he was silenced in order not to give his statement. After investigations, the National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the deadly crash was an accident likely caused by the pilot's decision to continue the flight under visual flight rules into instrument meteorological conditions, which resulted in the pilot's spatial disorientation and loss of control. Was the decision made by the pilot a mere mistake, or was it an intentional move? Could the tragic incident have been avoided, or is it just fate running its course? I guess we'll never know. As we close the chapter on the enigmatic circumstances surrounding Koby Bryant's tragic demise, another shadowy narrative beckons, brimming with intrigue and untold stories. The tale of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not just about a life cut short. It's a saga that continues to unravel, revealing shocking new assassination claims that challenges everything we thought we knew. What secrets lie buried in the Kennedy legacy? Who stands to gain from silencing voices that dare to challenge the status quo? The answer to these questions could change history as we know it. Stay with us as we peel back layers of mystery and deception in our next explosive investigation. Your journey into the heart of darkness is just a click away. Are you ready to dive deeper?